Hello there, interwebs. I am the Beckloff, and this is, of course, my podcast. And what a week it has been. The Zoe Quinn Five Guys Burgers and Lies saga continues to unfold even as I'm recording this. It's been a hell of a week for this. Just a hell of a week. I've been amazed by it. If you all are listening to this, you probably know about it. If not, go check out the Internet Aristocrat videos on it. He covers it about as thoroughly as anyone has. But a lot of people are talking about it. A lot of sites, a lot of people are sick of it. They're sick of the corruption in geek media. They're sick of the bias, the social justice warrior crap being forced upon us. And they're just tired of it. That's what I'm seeing all over the net right now. I watched the Zoe Quinn hashtags on Twitter extensively. I checked a lot of the Twitter on here. I mean, last week, I talked a little bit about this because it was just breaking, literally as I was recording, just breaking, and I was a little bit. I don't even really know what I was feeling at the time, but it was just another story, and I genuinely figured that it would pretty much get pushed under the rug, same as everything else, same as all the other damning things against these people. It just seemed like they were Teflon for so long that no matter what would come out, these sites that were completely in bed with them, and it turns out literally in bed with them in some cases, would just sweep the shit under the rug. But then this one broke. And this one has had legs. Zoe Quinn's finished. Her career's finished. I mean, she'll still be able to probably make a couple of bucks begging for money on Patreon or whatever the hell the site's called. But she's finished. She's toxic. I'm surprised at how few people have defended it. There's some. I mean, Movie Bob did, but even he was slow to do it. Now he's full pressed on it. But I don't think I saw anything by like Anita Skumskezian on it yet. I don't know. Lindsay Ellis has been very quiet. She's had the good sense to keep her head down on this one. A few others. It hasn't been the usual circle in the wagons that I would have expected. And because this time people are pissed. This time people have had enough. That's what I'm seeing right now. I'm seeing I heard this on a Tumblr somewhere where somebody said it's open season on offended culture. You know, and Internet Aristocrat first Zoe Quinn video stops with the whole, or ends with, you know, a scene from a movie where he's like, I'm gonna bring it all down on you. It's gonna be biblical. That's what this is this time. I genuinely think, I am cautiously optimistic that the Zoe Quinn Five Guys Burgers and Lies saga is the beginning of the end for these sites. Not just because of the mess itself, but because of how they've tried to cover it up. They're not able to squash the bait this time. They're really not. It won't go away. We won't drop it this time. It's all you SJWs. You better brace yourself. You better prepare your fucking assholes, 'cause it's coming for you. There's a shift now. It's not just like us evil right-wingers, us libertarians, red pillars, and all are coming after you. No, it's you guys versus everyone else. Everyone else is sick of you now. All right, moderates and conservatives and reasonably apolitical people who just want to have some damn fun in geekdom. Even some other liberals had enough of you. There's a lot of people on Tumblr that are sick of Zoe Quinn. And you know what? Let's go through a couple of the Zoe Quinn things I'm hearing, like the pro Zoe Quinn things. Well, it's none of your business. Fuck you. Alright? This is everyone's business. Okay? We have accusations here of real journalistic corruption. Alright? There's smoke here. Maybe there's not fire, but there's definitely smoke. That much is demonstrably true. It's everybody's business. No, you don't get to hide. And you know what? These sites, they didn't have any compunction about destroying the lives of professionals in the video game industry who they hate over personal shit. No, but now that it's Zoe, oh well, now it's no good. And by the way, another interesting fact that I caught wind of a couple days ago. Zoe Quinn is on the record saying that if you're cheating on your spouse and then you have sex with your spouse without them knowing you're cheating on them, you're having sex under false pretenses. Therefore, they can't really consent. Therefore, it's rape. She has said that. So by Zoe Quinn's own definition, not my definition. I didn't say that. Not fucking Jordan Owens' definition. Not fucking Internet Aristocrats' definition. Not, fucking 4chan's definition or Reddit or anything like that. No. Zoe Quinn's definition. By her own metric, she committed rape. Motherfucking rape. And isn't that the ultimate unforgivable sin to these SJWs? I mean, you could show a chainsaw getting shoved into someone's face in a movie or a comic book or a video game. But you better not even imply, kind of, maybe, sort of, towards rape, or they'll have a fucking fit. Which may be why some of the at least slightly intellectually honest SJWs over on Tumblr have turned on Zoe. Zoe Quinn is finished. I mean, sweetheart, if you're listening to this, you might as well put your application in at Starbucks now because you're done. Pack up your shit, go home, you're done. And any of you fuckers want to go down with the ship, go ahead. Any of you fuckers want to hop on board Zoe Quinn, the Zoe Quinn Express, that train's going right off a cliff. So you go right the fuck ahead, movie slob. You go right the fuck ahead and get on that express. Because it's heading right off a cliff. All that being said, look, I'm not going to reiterate the Zoe Quinn saga entirely. Because it's a mess. I'll be here all fucking day and I got shit to do. But what I am going to say is that I am seeing such a positive response to it. It lightens my soul to see the response I'm seeing. It's so wonderful. Everyone's had enough. Everyone's had enough of this. And it's been a long time coming. It's not just Zoe Quinn. Zoe Quinn is just the icing on the corruption and bias and whorishness cake. And it's a big 7-layer double chocolate cake of shit. We've all had enough. And you've all been seeing this for the longest time. You know you can't go on the marysue.com, the so-called main site for girl geeks, even if you are a girl and dare to expose or espouse anything that's not feminist for more than 4 or 5 posts before you get banned, no matter how polite you are. You know you can't go on half these sites. You know you can't go on fucking Kotaku forums or escapist forums and dare to question the fucking holy SJW narrative. I got banned on Comic Book Resources for daring to suggest that, hey, maybe what Albert Ching said when he was mad that there weren't enough there were too many white people in Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe that was kind of fucking racist. Maybe a statement like that about any other race, and there'd have been hell to pay. And I was banned. Well, you know what, you fucking asswipes? It's not going to work this time. There ain't enough block buttons in the world. There ain't enough white knights to come and save you. This time, we're storming the gates. We've had enough of your shit. We're tearing it down. And even more than we're tearing it down, we're going to build up. We're going to build up, possibly on your ruins. We're going to build geek media, geek culture back up to what it was. I know the rumblings all around are. People are starting stuff right now. People are speaking out more. People are emboldened. People have come up to me and said, hey, pardon me, we're looking to start a more non-PC kind of geek media thing. Are you in? Now I haven't. These are still ideas being fleshed out. But yes, I'm interested in that sort of shit, and a lot of other people too are too. And these sites are going to pop up because there's a vacuum. Because how many of you geeks out there who maybe you're not a libertarian or reactionary or conservative or red pill or what have you, but maybe you're just not a completely blue pill swallowing SJW. Maybe you just dare to question the SJW narrative a little bit, and you've been exiled from these sites, from these discussions. They want no part of you. They don't want to talk to anybody else. So you know what? Let's stop talking to them. They're the fucking minority. They're the fucking minority. Most of them aren't real geeks to fucking begin with. Most of them only came into this mess because it got popular in the last decade, give or take. Most of them aren't fucking real geeks. It's some feminist twat. Oh, I'm an X-Men fan because I watched the cartoon in the 90s. Go fuck yourself. No, and obviously Sarkeesian isn't a real gamer. She's on camera saying that. Do I have to explain that again to you? But I'm seeing such a positive response in wake of this. It's enough's enough. The people are mobilized. The people are angry. The anger at the SJWs and their censorship and their corruption and their bias and their bullying. They want to pretend like they're the anti-bullies. No, they're the fucking bullies. The anger at them has reached a critical mass. It really has. I mean, I look all around, and everybody is done with them. You're in for some rough... There's a storm coming to you fuckers. You better brace yourself. You better batten down the hatches. You're in for some rough waters ahead. Movie slob and Anita Skumskeesian and nostalgia cunt and fucking Five Guys Zoe Quinn. Y'all are in for some rough waters ahead. You better just fucking pucker up and brace yourself. Better just clench up like a motherfucker, because it's so positive. It's so wonderful to see it. Everyone is fucking sick of it. And again, it's not that all us non-SJWs think alike. It's not that at all. I've talked to Jordan Owen a bit online. I wouldn't say we're really friends. We're not that close. But I've chatted with him. We're friendly. I like the guy from what I know of him personally. Jordan Owen and I have a ton of disagreements on a ton of issues. Davis Arini, guy's like a brother to me. I have a ton of disagreements with him on a ton of issues. I don't agree with guys like Mundane Matt on everything. Hell, I'm sure if I were to sit down and discuss politics or theology or philosophy with Internet Aristocrat, as much as I have adored his videos, probably have a huge number of disagreements with him. It's not that us, like the SJWs, the feminists, they want to say, oh, it's just them versus the MRAs. Guess what? I'm not a fucking MRA. To me, an MRA is just a bizarro world version of a feminist. I'm not an MRA at all. And that's what they're trying to do. They want us to look like some monolithic group, because they are so just consumed by groupthink that I guess they can't even fathom that other people aren't. Because it's not SJWs versus MRAs. It's not feminists versus MRAs. At this point, it's feminists versus everyone else. Everyone else. That's what's on the other side of this. On the Zoe Quinn pro side, you got fucking SJW feminists. On the anti-Zoe Quinn side, you have every other conceivable stripe of human being. And we're the majority on this. We're the majority, and we're gonna take it back. We're gonna take it back. I have never been so optimistic regarding the future of geek culture as I have been in this week. From what I have seen. I have seen the momentum. I have seen the righteous fury be on the side of the anti-SJWs on this. We are pissed. We're done. We're taking it back. And on the pro SJW side, I have seen a lot of panicking. I have smelled fear on them this week. They are running scared. They are running scared. Something fierce here. And they should be. They should be. I love the Internet Aristocrat quote where Zoe Quinn was like, I don't negotiate with terrorists, because, that's everyone's a fucking terrorist if they don't agree with her. And Internet Aristocrat just tweets back, who the hell said I wanted to negotiate? Because that's the thing, we're not here to negotiate. We're here to burn it down. Somebody on Twitter, some fucking faggy white knight, tweeted at me. He's like, oh, when are you going to give it a rest on one of my anti-Zoe Quinn tweets? And I said, you know what? When this tower of fucking corruption is in ashes, then I'll give it a rest. Then I'll give it a rest. And that's what we're all thinking right now. That's what I'm seeing, everybody. We're done. We're done. We're tearing it down. We're tearing it the fuck down. We've had enough. We've had enough of you fucking bullies. You fucking moralizing, busybody bullies. Which brings me to something else I saw just last night. And I'd heard a little bit about this. I knew a little bit about what they were planning. Not all the details, but I knew a good amount. Davis Arini and Jordan Owen just put out their announcement for the documentary they intend to make on these SJWs and the stranglehold they've had with geek culture and culture at large. And I think they're putting it on Patreon as the site. One of these crowdsourcing sites. They're going to put it on there. And I intend to donate. I would encourage everyone listening to this to donate. I have complete confidence it will be a tremendously professional and well-made documentary when they're done with it. I know Jordan Owen has some experience in filmmaking. He has a small film studio. I've seen his little independent film, Lust in the Time of Heartache. I don't think it's been released to the public and all, but he showed it to me. Really damn good. I mean, there's a couple of technical issues I saw, but it was on a shoestring budget. But damn solid. Jordan Owen has of course produced tremendous YouTube videos over the years, as has Arini. They're both very intelligent, man. And you know what? Those two working together on this project sort of proves the point I was saying earlier. It's not SJWs and feminists versus MRAs. It's them versus the rest of us. There's worlds of difference between Arini and Jordan Owen. There's worlds of differences in their philosophies. Arini's a reactionary kind of guy with a little bit libertarian leanings. I'd put him somewhere halfway between libertarian and kind of full-on reactionary. His philosophy is hard to pin down in modern political terms. Jordan Owen is very much libertarian, but libertarian left. He leans left in a lot of his things, but has a core of personal responsibility and wanting small government, wanting freedom. He defaults towards freedom, is the best way I can describe his views. Point is, though, these are two men with very different views on life. But here's the difference. Here's the thing. They can talk to each other. I could talk to either one of these guys on any of these subjects. Most of you listening to my podcast right now, I can have a talk with you on any of these subjects. On philosophy, on science, on theology, on politics, on history. We can talk, and we're not necessarily going to agree. Hell, we're going to disagree probably more often than we're going to agree. But we're interested in having a talk. We honestly want to discuss things with each other. That's not true of these SJWs. Movie Bob here was saying, like, he's not going to discuss things with these MRAs, getting back to, he's an MRA because he disagrees with me. He's not going to discuss things with them because it humors them. It's like talking to flat earthers. Go fuck yourself, Bob. You stink of cowardice. You stink of fear right now. I smell it on you, and everyone else does too. You're fucking finished. And by the way, he's retweeting people who are trying to get it pulled off Patreon because they claim it violates the terms of service or some shit. I don't know. I have no fucking idea how those websites work. You know, I don't know. I don't know if it does or not. I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. I suspect these two did their homework. But that's their response to it. Not here's why your arguments are wrong, but ha ha ha, you're jerks. Let's get your stuff taken down. Because they can't fucking debate. That's the thing. Again, Jordan Owen, Davis Arini, all these other guys, they can debate. They want to debate. I want to debate. I want to... If I'm wrong, I want to know I'm wrong. I want to know the truth as best as I can in my imperfect... And you know what? We're all imperfect. I'm not saying I'm not going to occasionally just tell you to fuck off because I had a bad day, or maybe I heard this, or maybe I answered this argument a million other places, or maybe I falsely assume you're some jackass fucking leftist that just wants to fuck with me. You know, that's just... Maybe I falsely assume things about you. I'm not saying I don't do that sometimes, but I bend over backwards to try and be fair to dissent on my blog, on this YouTube channel. Just a couple videos ago, some douchebag comes on the comments and was like, "Oh, this is just a bunch of crap." It's, how do you put it? It's misinformed, and he made no actual argument. He just said, "Oh, this is bad. This is bad," and then he said, "And no wonder the guy won't show his face." And he wouldn't allow replies to the comments. And I don't know how the fuck you do that in your YouTube settings. I've never set it up that way. I guess when you're commenting, you can make it so people can't reply, because that pops up sometimes. This guy was adding nothing to conversation. He just came on my channel to insult me. He had no actual point. He called me a coward, essentially, while not allowing for replies. So I deleted his comment. But, again, I bend over backwards to try and be fair. I really do. I actually made a comment myself where I posted his entire comment, quoted it in its entirety, said who it was from, and explained why I blocked him. I said, "Look, you're going to come onto my channel talking shit. You got no actual argument. You're just trying to insult me. And you're not going to even allow replies? I'm sorry, but I got no choice to delete this comment. But, and if you listen to this now, Mr. Scott, I think it was, or something, if you listen to it now, if you're going to allow replies, I'll let you back on. If you're going to face replies like a fucking man, I know you're not a real man, but if you would, I'd let you back on. Because again, I am trying to bend over backwards to not be hiding behind a block button. I've never blocked anyone on Twitter, except for someone that was spamming me, I think. Never blocked someone on Twitter. Even some of these fucking asswipes that just been blowing up my mentions at one point. I'm like, you know what? No, you just run your mouth. I don't care. I'm not going to block you. I'm not going to do that because that's fucking cowardice in my mind. Unless you're really just being harassed or the person just leaves you no choice. You know, but if someone tweets you one time something you don't like and you block them, you're a fucking faggot. You're a fucking coward. I love that. Feminists do it all the time. I'm a strong, independent woman who hides behind a block button. Eat a dick. Oh, man. On my blog, I always try to allow the dissenting comments. I bend over backwards to be fair. You know, and I don't have to, per se. You know, it's my soapbox that I build. But I want to be fair. Because I want to treat people the way I would expect to be treated. And there's no point in me coming up here and saying a damn thing if I'm not willing to hear someone else out. If I'm not willing to hear out other people and respond to what they have to say, then what am I doing up here saying anything? Alright? You want to speak your mind on the interwebs, you better be ready to also listen. Otherwise, you're just a piece of shit coward. That's all it boils down to. So, getting back to my main point, in some odd ways, maybe in the long run, we're going to owe Zoe Quinn a little thank you, because I think she might have done us all a big favor. accidentally by being a terrible, corrupt, sociopathic whore. Because she exposed it raw at a deeper level than it's ever been exposed before, and there's no hiding. The light has been turned on this time, and there's nowhere for the cockroaches to scurry under this time. This time, the light is too bright. I really think we have at least a chance, finally, to clean fucking house and get back to geekdom just being fun. Remember when geekdom was fun? Remember when that's what geek media was about? We were all having fun. Like, oh, this comic book is awesome. And, I mean, back in my day, when I was a young lad playing video games, we used to argue over whether Mario or Sonic was cooler. Not which one was fucking racist or whatever other bullshit. Let's get back to it being fun. Let's get back to being able to talk to each other without the fucking thought police rolling in. And I think we're going to be able to do that this time. I really do. I sense some momentum on our side. I sense fear on the other side. And I would also support this this movie that Jordan Owen and Arini are going to work on. I don't know that it's quite the game changer they've advertised it as leading up to this announcement. I really don't. Sorry, I love you both, but I don't. But I do believe the net effect of it will be very positive. I do believe it's one more thing that's going to be used to tear. And again, I don't know what they're going to uncover. I mean, look what uncovering the Zoe Quinn stuff did. Maybe they're going to uncover some dirt that's just so fucking amazing, and that there's not going to be no hiding from it. There's not going to be anybody that's going to be able to say, well, that's just Jordan Owen, he's a jerk, or that's just Davis Arini, and he's a jerk. No, the story itself will have a life on its own beyond who exposed it originally. I would hope these guys, I believe they're getting guys like Thunderfoot involved in it. I believe they're getting Mundane Matt involved in it. I don't know. I would hope that they get an Internet Aristocrat involved in it, because what he has done on the subject of SJWs and their toxicity is phenomenal. Internet Aristocrat has done so much good work. He's doing the Lord's work, as far as I'm concerned. Again, though, I don't think it's going to be necessarily a game changer they imagine it's going to be. But it might. And it's going to be one more thing. At the very least, I imagine the net effect will be positive. I mean, it's already very clearly rustled some jimmies. Movie Bob's initial thing was to laugh at it, but then he's retweeting people who are trying to get it taken down, because he's fucking scared of it. He's fucking scared. So, I think we're going to be able... I see positive things in the future. I think tides have been turned here. Could be wrong, but I'm not generally an optimist, and I am feeling very optimistic on this. So I'll put a link down below to their Patreon, I guess the site's called. Maybe I'm pronouncing that wrong, but I'll put a link down below to it. Please donate to this. Even if you just give a couple of bucks is better than nothing. I mean, come on, you could toss $1 or $2 towards it, can't you? I mean, $2. What's that get you? Maybe a soda at a gas station? Come on, you can do it. Every little bit helps. I'm going to be donating here very soon. I think I might donate a larger chunk myself, so I might wait till my payday. That being said, I definitely will be donating something to it. And I encourage everyone else to as well. It needs to be done. Alright, moving on to happier subjects. That kind of was a happy subject, but less intense subjects, I should say. As you know, if you listen to my stuff, I've been getting heavy into the retro game scene a little bit more here in recent years, and I've been in it since probably around 2005, but I've been getting heavy into it these last couple of years, which is, I'm scrambling to get ahead of the speculator boom, because there's a lot of stuff I want to get, but prices are only going up. If you want to get into this stuff, now is the time, because prices are going to go up unless you intend to wait a good decade till maybe things die down. And I've said before, I think the best way to get started on retro gaming, if you want to get into it, is to get one of those Retron type systems. You know, I mean, for like $30, I think it is, or for $60 at this one place I go to, I can get a system that plays Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and Nintendo games. Now, it doesn't have complete compatibility on all of them, but it would be a good place to start, and it's going to play most of the common ones. But I'm going to recommend a game here for y'all. One of my favorite games of all time. And to play this, you probably can't do it on the Retrons, because this is kind of two games. It's Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Now, what that means is, when they released Sonic 3, it was such a big game that they ended up splitting it up into two cartridges, two different games. Sonic 3, and then its immediate follow-up, almost, I think less than a year later it came out, Sonic and Knuckles. Now, Sonic and Knuckles had a lock-on feature where you could lock on Sonic 3 or Sonic 2. If you locked on Sonic 2, you could play through Sonic 2 as Knuckles. If you locked on Sonic 3, you got the complete game of Sonic 3 and Knuckles. The complete Sonic 3. It was, I guess, a primitive form of DLC. Now, in most of the Retrons have the problem where if you try to do this, it will only read the one cartridge. It'll only play Sonic and Knuckles by itself. In Sonic 3, you can play as Sonic or Tails, or Sonic and Tails, I guess. And Tails could actually fly in this. I mean, you could make him fly. And if you were playing Sonic and Tails with the second controller, Tails could fly and carry Sonic. In Sonic and Knuckles, you could just play as only Sonic or only Knuckles. But if you combine the two, you can play through the entirety as either Sonic, Tails, or Knuckles. Or Sonic and Tails, obviously. And no one's just Sonic, was the point of that. But when you combine the two, you get something that's more than the sum of its parts. Again, if you just played on the Retron, you'd only be able to play one or the other. Most of the collections I've seen of Sonic games, you can play one or the other. Like, I have a collection of Sonic games on my PS2 where I can play Sonic and Knuckles, or I can play Sonic 3, but I can't play Sonic 3 and Knuckles unless I have to like beat all the games and that's somehow unlocked or something, which I've never done. At least not on that collection. But when you combine Sonic 3 and Knuckles, you get a huge game for that era games. You know, you get all the Sonic 3 levels, then you play through all the Sonic and Knuckles levels. You can get 7 Chaos Emeralds in the Sonic 3 levels, and an additional 7 in the Sonic and Knuckles levels that allows you, when you get the 14, both Tails and Knuckles can go super. And when you get the 14 on Sonic, he becomes Hyper Sonic, which is just game breaking. I mean, as much as Super Sonic kicks ass, Hyper Sonic, he has like a double jump that's also a screen nuke and kills everything on the screen. It's brutal. And to be honest, I can't imagine beating the last few bosses without being able to go super. I always managed to get all the Chaos Emeralds in this game, so that was never a problem. I can't imagine beating them without it. But they're three very different games in a way. Tails and Sonic play the same levels, except Sonic has an additional Super Sonic level at the end. But obviously it's different gameplay. Tails can fly, he can get to places Sonic can't. But for the most part, it's the same levels. Knuckles, however, can reach points Sonic can't. And indeed, because he has a slightly lower jump, can't reach points Sonic can. So in many levels, he has vastly different routes to take. And many of the levels are completely different for him. And he doesn't have as many levels. But it really feels like three games in a way. It's just a phenomenal game. The graphics are fantastic for the Genesis. The music is amazing. I've heard Michael Jackson actually helped produce some of the music on it. I don't know if that's true. It seems to be a bit note of controversy, but it definitely has a feel like maybe he did. The music is some of the best music I've ever heard on cartridge era games. It's just phenomenal. It communicates a narrative to you too without any dialogue. the three different kind of parallel stories going on. It's which Sonic '06 kind of tried to do that, but failed miserably. This ends up, as simple as it is, being a far better story. It is, easily the best Sonic game ever. It's damn near my favorite game. I mean, depending on when you ask me, I would say it's my favorite video game ever. It's just fantastic. It alone is worth getting a Genesis for. And Genesis is creeping up a bit in price, and Genesis games are creeping up a bit in price, but they're still pretty cheap. I didn't even get a Sonic 3 and a Sonic Knuckles loose for maybe like $10 a piece, like not with the case. Which amazes me that I even find Genesis games without the case. Whoever threw the fucking case away on those? They were the perfect plastic snap cases. I mean, I understand why you threw away Nintendo and Super Nintendo cases. They were just shitty cardboard things that disintegrated. But it amazes me anyone ever got rid of the cases on Genesis games. But you can find the loose ones pretty cheap. Genesis isn't too expensive either. I mean, I think it's probably maybe like $40 in a lot of places. It probably depends on if you have a retro game store in your area, which more and more places do. It's probably only like $40. It's just a fantastic game. I absolutely love it. If you have a Genesis and you don't have these, you're doing it wrong. It's just fantastic. As I said last time, I've been playing a lot of Bomberman lately. Super Bomberman on the Nintendo or Super Nintendo is pretty good. Still haven't found the regular Bomberman. But yeah, getting back to what I said, I would definitely recommend Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Consider that my solid recommendation of the week. If you're at all interested in Sonic games, play that one. Play that one. It's just fantastic. And as I said before, I also got a Wii U. I've been playing through a lot of those games lately. The new Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is a lot of fun. It's interesting gameplay in that it allows, you have different assist characters, not just Diddy. Mario Kart 8, as I've said before, is just absolutely fantastic. All the critics agree on that. I just adore Mario Kart 8, and you can rest assured that no one at Nintendo had to suck my dick to get me to say that. This isn't some Zoe Quinn shit over here. When I tell you I like a video game, it ain't because nobody's fucking me for it. But yeah, I really like the Wii U. I'm looking forward to a lot of games coming out on it. Captain Toad looks fantastic. The new Smash Brothers with Pac-Man, Sonic, Mario, and Mega Man all in a game together. To a guy like me who grew up with video games in the cartridge era, that's a nerdgasm if ever there was one. The new Hyrule Warriors looks great. The new Legend of Zelda looks great. So many games coming out on the Wii U look fantastic. I have so much more interest in that than anything coming out on PS4 or whatever, and Xbox One. Fuck Xbox One. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I'll be deep in the cold ground before I buy an Xbox One. I will buy I'll buy an Atari Jaguar at a fucking flea market. I'll go to a retro game store and get a fucking Atari. And Atari games are ass. Atari games are the ones that aren't really holding their value. And all this cartridge era shit, which tells me that there is just genuinely people coming in that love it. It's not just speculators. Because Atari games suck balls. I'm sorry if you grew up with the Atari and you love it, but take your retro goggles off for a second. You'll see it sucks balls. Nintendo games still hold up, many of them. You can still play Mario. I could hand Mario 3 to a fucking 7-year-old and he could get into it. Same with Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo, mini Super Nintendo games. Sonic 3 and Knuckles holds up to this day. For being what it is, a side-scroller, type thing. Atari games suck balls. The original ones are ass, broken. Half of them broken and unplayable. I mean, E.T. being that infamous example. Or it's just like really shitty ports of arcade classics. So I mean, I really doubt I'd ever get an Atari. Every Atari game for me ends the same way. Me throwing a controller down and saying, fuck this game. Alright, folks, so that's my podcast for this week. Like I said, I think we're gonna take it back. I'm excited about it. The momentum's on our side. I say we take it back. But that's my podcast this week, folks. Beckloff